I don't know the way. Now I'm gone to this other place, and all I wish for is a familiar face. Now I'm gone to this other place, and all I wish for is a familiar face. I had to go so I didn't hear you at all, brother. I know you can be loud. Yep.
Really?
Hey! 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 Hey!
Let's do like young folks saying, turn up, y'all. Ready? Go! Hey! Thank you very much.
And Africa Unplugged for invoking our ancestors from this place where they actually were enslaved and worked to us here today. So I'm Ann Willis, and this is the ending and celebration of Revolutionary Reflections, recalling African American history through poetry and music. And we used revolutionary because we, through our historian, connected ourselves to Governor Alexander Martin, who fought in the Revolutionary War. But it's also revolutionary because identifying and making this information known causes a complete and dramatic change, which is the definition of revolutionary. So this is a revolutionary event and celebration. The idea for the poetry workshop and percussion performance arose from discussions among our family members on how to begin to formalize and interpret a huge body of historical documents and pictures and information into a publication or exhibit in order to make it more known. During genealogical research, a direct ancestral connection to this land, this very land, Dan River is right back there. This was the property of Governor Alexander Martin's plantation called Danbury. So through our genealogical research, a direct ancestral connection to this land was discovered, and so it was only natural that our culminating event be held here. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Jenny Edwards and the Rockingham County Arts Festival, the North Carolina Arts Festival, Josephus Thompson of the Poetry Cafe for his leadership and knowledge during the Zoom poetry workshops held over the last 2 months. He is now our brother, cousin, nephew, son, and to Atiba Roy and Unplugged Africa for helping us to pay our respects to those held in bondage here and to cement their place in Rockingham County history and American history with drum beats of our native Africa. Thank you to each of you for your participation in the Zoom sessions and for being here today. And next we'll hear from our historian, Winifred Lee Martin.
Trying to tell me something. I hear some thunder, so I'm not going to get crazy with this. So probably 15 years ago, I was at Eudoxie Dalton's house, and she had all these old pictures, and I noticed this one, and her name was Lucy Martin, Little Lucy. So I did some research. I found another Lucy, but that was all I found. So I just kind of abandoned the Rockingham County Martins. So where we're standing now, Alexander Martin lived, but back in the 1770s, his brother, James Martin, also lived in Rockingham County, but he moved to Stokes County when it was formed, and his brother was governor and gave him a nice position. But anyway, he's the Martin that owned my Stokes County relatives. So in researching his history, looking at some of his wills, I realized that he was actually the brother of Alexander, which I had not done a lot of research on the people that owned my people. So that's an important thing to do, is check out everybody around your family. So what I found was the will of Alexander Martin, which the big find for me, the first time I looked at it, there was a Grace who had been given to James. Well, Grace was my second great-grandfather, Kit's mother, so I thought that's a lot to, it only took me 20 hours to get to it, but I had a big find.
Speak in the microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can.
All right, so in the will of Alexander Martin, the first thing that I found was that he had given my third great-grandmother, Grace, to his brother James. So I was pretty satisfied with that, and I didn't really look at it too much more, but then I kept seeing something about a slave that had been freed. So when I couldn't even read the will. The sections that pertained to Ben were, of course, they're poorly written sections, so it was very hard to read those. But I located some books and some other historical documents that the family of Alexander had done, and I read a passage, and it said that he was freeing Benjamin Harris Martin for his commitment and service during the Revolutionary War, which made me think, well, maybe that's my relative. I didn't know Benjamin. But then when I went to an even more poorly written section, it mentioned Benjamin's children, who were Charles and Lucy, and those were names that had been passed down through the generations. So I'm like, this is probably my ancestor, and that's really tracing from the area and the Lucys that show. I was able to track all of the Lucys, Little Lucy, then Big Lucy, and then there's Benjamin. So connecting the dots, I'm guessing this is my relative, and I'm pretty sure I got the right person. But when he was freed, he received some land on Jacob's Creek and another parcel. So the first census that he shows up is in 1810, and he's on that land. So North Carolina was probably not the worst place to be enslaved, but to stay free in North Carolina was a task. It wasn't, at one point you had to have land, and at one point during like the 1830s to the 1850s, they didn't want free people of color in North Carolina. So there was a movement to colonize the slaves that were here, send them to Liberia or to other free states. And it was always a big effort to try to support yourself and not be enslaved again. Some people found freedom so difficult that they chose someone and enslaved themselves to that person. So to have gone from 1807 until the end of the war and remain free was a major job. And so we know these were strong people, because most of the time we only saw, in the records I could find women, so the men were probably off working on other farms and trying to help support the family. So I guess that's it. That's the history. And the governor, he's a person, him and his brother named Raleigh, so we have a connection to the titles of the state capitol, and I think that's enough. If you want to know more, I have boatloads of information.
Thank you, Winifred.
Hey, I think we should give it up one more time because that's very important history that a lot of black families in America can't even find out. It's special to be here. My family has about 96 acres. We kind of got a similar story. Been in our family. We had a house that was built 220 years ago on the land. And the city, it's actually in Garner, right outside of Raleigh, but it was over 200 acres, and the city keeps kind of, you know how it go. But here we go. From Durham, North Carolina, Kenny Phelps McCown, y'all. So the name of this song is called Bani. It kind of means the refusal. And in West Africa, just like here, for African Americans, the music tells stories, right? Like Wade in the Water says, go in the water, they can't find you when you're walking in the water. This particular song says, you shouldn't love someone for what they have. You shouldn't love someone because they have lots of gold, lots of diamonds, lots of money. You should love them for who they are. And that being a good person is good. So we all sing with us today? Y'all can sing a little bit. The words are easy. Really easy. It goes like this. Banile, 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 banile. Your turn. Yeah. Banile, 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 banile. Now, no matter what I say, your response is going to be the same thing. 1, 2, ready, go. Banile, banile. Banile, banile, zongo mani bongo mai bani dununya. Our love is free, love is free, love is free. It don't cost a thing. Sunny modo fela me dile, what the modo fela me do. Banile, banile, zongo mani bongo mai bani dununya. Come on, Will. Banile, 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 banile. Banile, banile, zongo mani bongo mai bani dununya. Banile, banile, zongo mani bongo mai bani dununya. Banile, 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 banile. Hey, y'all clap it up, because it done cooled off out here, didn't it? He might not come where you want him, but he'll be right on time. Wasn't here when we was carrying this stuff up, but it feels great now.
Thank you again, Africa Unplugged. So now is the part of this program where we share our poetry. And I don't see Josephus right now, so I guess he had to step away. But anyway, So we're just taking volunteers. You just come up and say your poem right into this microphone. You can't be over here. You have to be right here. Can't be down here. Can't be up here. You gotta be right here in the sweet spot. So it looks like we have, oh, and I want to tell you about these displays as our first poet comes to the stage. In front here are some placards with some information. So please feel free to come up. You can actually pull it out and hold it and look at it and read it. And it talks about some of the information Winifred shared and about the Roman and Annie Martin Memorial Scholarship Fund, which is the partner of the Arts Council to put on this little event. And so our first poet to the stage is Dr. Lois Martin Fears, the baby child of Roman and Annie, and the 6th generation back descendant of Benjamin Martin, or 6th generation forward descendant of Ben, who was enslaved by Governor Martin.
Let's give a round of applause to our illustrious band and our illustrious hostess and planner of the event and her committee. Give her another round of applause, please. This looks like really an ideal setting, and I think somebody is having favor on us because we have an overcast. The sun is not running us away with the heat, and we get a little breeze every now and then.
Right.
And I was, like you said, looking for Josephus.
Okay, she's gonna get stuck on that. Your audience is this way. Josephus got his check and
A seed is a mystery because what grows from a seed does not look like what was planted. The unfolding of new life are the marriage of two and the offsprings that grew. In time, there were 14 siblings who grew and touched each other and expanded our views. From the fragrances of the kitchen's blackberry pies, sweet potato pies, and vanilla pound cake, to tobacco curing in the old log barn's heat. There was always the sound of pattering feet, inside, outside, up and down the hills and roads, to the vegetable garden, corn, and tobacco fields. Well as 4 miles to school, we would never skip a beat. Because after all, Mama always said education was the way to improve our place in life. Our roots are deep and strong. They spread from generation to generation, passing on our values and aspirations. Working in the tobacco fields early in the morning, before the noonday heat. Taking a break for dinner midday, returning mid-afternoon to complete the task. From tobacco we made an awesome living, spreading our roots, creating new life and relationships, keeping our spirits high, focus on the fruit of the Spirit for everlasting life. Thank you.
Woo-hoo! Okay, whoever wants to go next can go. Introduce yourself, or would you like an introduction? And tell the band what you would like.
Could you hear it?
Yes, very good.
Try to get close to the mic.
Right, you got to be square in it.
I'm Dorothy Martin James. I'm next to the baby of the litter. And we always had to refer to Lois, who just left, as the baby sister, baby child, that baby. Mom always said, that baby, take care of that baby. So my writing is somewhat different from hers, because I write from a different perspective, I guess. I have a lot of just little vignettes, the things that I did during my first 20 years when I lived on the farm. And then as I went away and came back perhaps annually or more frequently, I gathered some more things that I included in this little bit that I'm going to read to you. And I hope you'll enjoy it and reflect on how we lived, so many children in one family with moderate resources and working hard in the fields, and how we were anxious to get away from it, however, and how we still have respect for it, and we'll come back. We have come back to honor what we did here. A seed is the beginning of eternity, full of promise, creating unknown possibilities, with a soft breeze wafting over the morning dew. Sisters and brothers, the pigs, the farm animals, playing with dogs and cats, interacting together, making one big family. Hopscotch, jump rope, board games, making words, staying occupied with purpose.
Turned it up.
Picking and eating blackberries and blueberries and knowing where to find them in the woods. Taking a swim in the creek after worming the tobacco or chopping catch fish in the creek with a seine we made from a fertilizer bag. Elders gathered at shade tree, children sitting near, listening to talk of how to grow this crop, how to plant and harvest according to the almanac. Curing tobacco, the men would pull the leaves from the stalk. The women would string the leaves on a stick, hang it in the barn, and fire it up. Smelling cured tobacco at the barn while you relax on a pallet and eat roasted corn made in the embers. Eating watermelon and cantaloupe and spitting seed on the ground. Fruit hidden in barn for Christmas released a sweet odor as we passed on the way to school. The mule getting on his knees to wallow in the sand while the baby Lois was still on his back. Not getting permission to go to the wash lady's fish fry on Saturday night. Christmas, Easter, the fourth Sunday in July at Hayes Chapel United Methodist Church, were big days for us. First Sunday in August became family reunion in about 1950, and we have met every year since. Hopscotch, baby mule, baby on the mule, walking to school, getting a bus, growing tobacco, harvesting cane, patting the bib on the overalls. My daddy did that to indicate that he was doing good. If anyone would ask him how he felt, he would always pat the bib on his overalls and say, I'm doing good, I'm doing good. Legacy can be sometimes an intangible that is passed from generation to generation. Legacy is what you leave on this earth for others to follow. Legacy is the aroma of fresh fruit hidden in the barn. Legacy is continuing the tradition of meeting, eating, and sharing families together.
Hello everyone, my name is Linda. I am the baby child of Bernice Martin, who is the 7th child of Roman and Andy Martin. Roman and Andy Martin. What is a seed? A seed is the beginning of life, beauty and nourishment, a mother's love, to see better things, the sound of greater things to come. The life and love of Pam and Big Mama on the farm. There was fresh air, organic foods, well water, enjoying the land, gratitude for our heritage, good health at any age, relationships with family, enjoying sports like croquet, badminton, the importance of education, healthy lifestyle through farming. Riding the tobacco slides, picking blueberries along the dirt road on the way to the general store, aunt's rooms painted in their sorority colors, the weenie roast on the Saturday before the family reunion. Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lois Dalton DeVee, the daughter of Eudoxia and Frank Dalton, and the granddaughter of Roman and Annie Martin, the wife of Shambe, the mother of Matthew and Maya, the grandmother of Galileo. This is not my poem, though. This is the poem of Joy Logan, who is also from the 7th branch, Bernice Martin. Her mother was Jackie, and I'm reading, her mother was Mary Ann. Mary Ann. And Joy is in New York. She lives in New York, so this was a bit of a stretch for her to come down here, but she's sort of the unofficial president of our genealogical group that started back in the fall to really pull together all the different information that different people have. And that was at the request of Aunt Lois. She called and said, hey, do this. And, when the elder calls and says, do it, you just say, okay. And so that's how we got started. And then Ann found this opportunity for us to also support the arts. And so here we are. And so Joy asked if I would read her poem, which answers the question, what is a legacy? The start of an idea, something new, hope, promise of better things to come. The promise that your hunger will be satisfied, like a cool shower on a hot summer day, like diving into the ocean and letting the waves carry you away, sailing on a ship, moving in concert with the waves off into the horizon.
honey fresh from the hive, promising sweet softness, encouraging growth and hope. Watching children play hopscotch in the dirt, peeking into the barn looking for hidden treasure, their joyous voices riding a wave of happiness. A hug from the past, what you leave behind to remind people to not repeat the past, but to move forward into the future. Rhythmic like a melody from a Spanish guitar, notes dancing along the scale. Looking into a mirror and seeing those who came before me, popcorn popping, bread baking in the oven, making molasses from sugar cane, picking suckers, blueberries, and clearing the grass for tobacco to grow. Legacy looks like me. Legacy looks like me. The harvest has come. It's time for joy. Legacy looks like me. Joy Logan. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Fears. I am the daughter-in-law of the baby, Lois Fears. My husband is Aaron Fears, Lois and Freddie Fears' son, one of two, and we have 3 children. One who's our videographer today, Aaron Fears. My poem, or my writing, not really a poem, is about the experiences of getting to know this family, the legacy behind this family and this land. When I think of a seed, I reflect on the birth of Blackness, the DNA, the beginning of infancy, potential in the dreams that promises the future. A seed, the touch and the texture that reminds of the rare beauty of living elements in a compact form before the shell of infancy allows its DNA to unfold. Legacy touches all sense. To hear the distant sounds of leaves rustling, wind so strong it blows the underbrush and moves the earth to almost uncover the seed. Legacy is a glimpse of your life, your path, what you leave behind, how you were feeling during times and different phases of your life. Legacy is to know the smell of the earth, the foundation that tells of great beginnings, to see the potential that water, dirt, fertilizer, and sun can produce. Legacy sounds like cousins laughing and joking together, playing cards and ribbing each other. Legacy is a taste of yesterday that has promise of tomorrow. The appetizing odor and refreshing taste of apples, pears, oranges that were stored in the barn in preparation for the holidays. It's an unwritten map of how your forefathers lived and survived in perilous times. From legacy comes strong roots, roots that grow longer, thicker, deeper, as the seed turns into a tree that is trying to touch the sun. The roots, the home house, sitting on the porch at the home house, the gathering spot, sharing the stories, showing the pictures, remembering moments in time captured, the smiles, the love, seeing the bowl that held the bread as exhibited by Aunt Sock, hearing the jokes, playing Dr. Pepper at the poker games on Friday nights with Aunt India, Auntie, Daddy Fears, Aunt Dottie, Taylor, Walter, and Nellie Strong, feeling the excitement of the camaraderie, the thrill of wagering, and comfort with the rules of the game. Finally, legacy is Sunday service at the reunion, the observation of our ancestors, the worship, final gathering, and preparation for so long.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else. I'm not doing one. Stephanie, you gonna do yours?
Can you hear me? So I am Winifred Lee, the great-granddaughter of Mary Lou Martin Kellum. She was one of the older sisters of Roman Martin. All the sisters abandoned the farm and went to live in the big city of Madison. So here we go. A seed is the source of life. It is solid and protective. It can fulfill and sustain us. It smells like the air after a cleansing rain, filled with the tears of those who have come before us. It is the voice of our ancestors calling us forward. The land, the farm, the tobacco, the corn, the hogs, lives that became more than the land, the farm, the tobacco, the corn, and the hogs. Oops. This is what you call a traumatic pause. Legacy is the light of your path into the future. What does legacy feel like? Solid ground. What does it taste like? Rich soil that provides nourishment to fuel our journey forward. What does it smell like? It smells like the sweat, tears, prosperity, and hope. What does it look like? My great-grandparents dressed in their Sunday best, having thrown off the rags of slavery. What does it sound like? The whispers, then the cheering of our ancestors pushing us forward.
All right, thanks everybody. Those were really great. I had heard some of them during the Zoom sessions that we had, but I don't know, they rang out a little differently out here today, and it was really nice. So thank you for sharing. This concludes our program. I do want to say that, this is a whole site, so if you follow the path, you can actually walk down around that sign down there. Don't go in this building, don't go near it, but past the building and on down around, and it'll take you down to the river bank where there is a flight of stairs that will take you all the way down to the Bateau landing. That flight of stairs is a little intimidating for me, but there is handrails. Go for it. But the Bateau is the place where these flat-bottom boats brought goods during Governor Martin's time on this property, and where the enslaved people probably unloaded and distributed those goods and services. And so that's what the Bateau landing is. It's a place where that flat-bottom boat in this shallow river could stop and be unloaded. And again, we have these documents here for you to peruse. I would also like to acknowledge that this was the entire community was invited to participate in not only this, but the Zoom sessions, but it really ended up being the family, which is nice and fine. And so I do want to say that we are also celebrating some birthdays, and I hope they don't mind, but I think it's important to acknowledge that over here under this tent, we have some 90-plus-year-olds. Two folks standing. My mom in the seersucker dress, celebrating her 96th birthday on May 26th. And her baby sister standing beside her, celebrated her 91st birthday on May 18th. stand, celebrated her 93rd birthday in February. So I think it's worth acknowledging, and we just want to say thank you for the legacy that you continue to pass on. So we're going to have Africa Unplugged take us out with, a tribute to our ancestors and a tribute to our descendants, and that closes this program. Thank you all very much.
Oh, that's it? Really? All right. Okay, then. All right, we can go do something different. Okay. Anybody here been ever heard of this spot called the Juke Joint? Sometimes they call it the little fun house. All right, we going there.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I did forget to acknowledge our guest, the former mayor of Mayodan, Mr. Bullins. So thank you for coming. And also a representative of the Mark Museum in Whitworth.
Okay, we got one more that we need your help singing with. Your words are really simple. Son bebe la. Can I hear you say that? Son bebe la. So this particular song comes from West African and essentially says no one is beyond reproach. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's doing their best to be better. You know, everybody has things to improve upon. And realistically, when you have people around you that love you, they're only telling you things so that you can be a better person. So, can I hear you say, Son bebe la,
Son bebe la,
and then now, Son bebe la,
son bebe la,
yeah, Son bebe la,
son bebe la,
Son bebe la.
son bebe la.
You'll catch it. I know y'all are smart. Sarama sonko, sitama sarama sonko, son bebe la ayeni ale. Sitama sarama sonko, son bebe la sarama sonko, sitama sarama sonko, son bebe la ayeni ale. Sitama sarama sonko, son bebe la sarama sonko, sitama sarama sonko, son bebe la ayeni ale. Sitama sarama sonko. On sung by Kessedini from Durham by way of A&T. Lamar Lewis, come on. much. We are Africa Unplugged. Really appreciate being here, especially playing for our old people. I love it. Y'all keep doing this as a family. Please keep doing this as a family and inspire other families to do it too, especially the research. Thank y'all.
Thank you.